We are officially less than 100 days from the largest construction family reunion in North America. That's right, CONEXPO-CON AGG is going to be here before we know it. See and test the new equipment. Ask the technical experts. Find out what your business will be using tomorrow. Make the connections that matter. If you haven't registered yet, there's still time to secure your tickets. Visit CONEXPO-CONAG.com or click the link in the show notes and use promo code all caps podcast20 to get 20% off. That's right, 20% off with promo code podcast20. If you already have your tickets to the show, join us and comment on our daily commercial news, Journal of Commerce, and Construction Record podcast Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram feeds to let us know you're going to be there and what you're most excited to see. Should highways be expanded, optimized, or replaced? TransportFutures.ca invites you to learn from and with international experts as we compare and contrast cutting-edge research, case studies, and best practices through presentations and interactive panel discussions. The first of 7 webinars takes place on February 9th from 1 to 4 p.m. Speakers for this session include Tija Dirks from the Ontario Ministry of Transportation, Ricardo Sanchez from Sintra, Elizabeth Deacon from the University of California, Andrew Price from Jacobs UK, and Michael Chu from MSC Consulting in Canada. DCN subscribers receive a special 10% discount using the promo code DCN23. Details are available at transportfutures.ca/highway. Don't get stuck in highway congestion missing it. Welcome to the Construction Record Podcast. I'm digital media editor Warren Frey, and with me today I have
Taylor White.
Taylor, we're both headed to ConExpo in March. Maybe you could give us, first of all, your background in the industry, and then how you got involved with doing their podcast.
Yeah, awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on today. I'm happy to speak to you. And so the whole kind of ConExpo journey started. Well, I guess me in the industry, I grew up in a family of blue collar and construction. I'm a third generation business owner here in Ottawa, Canada. We specialize in site preparations for residential and commercial work. And I'm kind of just putting my own little spin on it with social media, which I guess kind of put the feelers out there for ConExpo, Con AGG, AEM, to reach out and start our kind of working partnership as far as me being the host as ConExpo. But they reached out. I believe it was this time last year. Maybe we kind of started talking, and right off the get-go, I knew that it was going to be a great relationship. And they kind of were like, okay, like, there's some value that you can bring and there's some value that we can bring. And together we kind of, came up with this idea of the direction we want the podcast to go and the lead up for the show on March 14th this year in Vegas. And it's just been kind of a good way to showcase some of the people that are going to be there and some of the conversations that are going to be had and to highlight those things about the show.
Oh, let's go into that. What are some of the things you're looking forward to seeing at the show?
For me, so as a podcast host, one of the best things that I get to do is I get to actually talk to these people that are going to, be at the show or they've been to the show or they're looking forward to going. And so for me, the answer is simple. It's the people. That's what I think the draw is going there and continuing on the conversations that we have on the ConExpo-CON AGG podcast, and diving deeper and being able to actually listen to these people on some of the panels that are going to be had there. I know that there's a ton of value going to be had on some of the panels, and I'll be speaking on a panel as well, an influencer panel on Friday morning, I believe, with myself, Missy Sherber, and Matt Stanley, I believe, from American Pavement, and then we have Jimmy Starbuck from Starbuck Excavation. So yeah, the people. I'm really looking forward to talking to the people and continuing on conversations. Another interesting aspect too that ConExpo brings is, it's just such an interesting show because of the vast array of machinery and technology and iron that's there. So really looking forward to just seeing the best of the best from all the major brands. I know I'm really excited to see Komatsu. Komatsu's been a really good partner of ours for the ConExpo podcast. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have in store as far as technology and machinery wise. So yeah, those are just some things that I think that I'd really like to highlight.
I know I've explained to civilians, basically my parents, what it's all about. I said, okay, so not that you know anything about San Diego Comic-Con, but this is like the construction version of San Diego Comic-Con. It's that
Yeah.
big. And as somebody from Ottawa, and I'm from Vancouver, I'm sure we've both been to the building show and comparable shows in Toronto and other big for Canada shows, but this is a completely next level experience from what I can tell. I haven't gone yet either, but I have been to San Diego Comic-Con, so that's what I'm grasping onto as the closest analog to it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, CONEXPO is a show like no other, to be honest with you. It's something that whenever you're there, you kind of just you realize and you try. It's one of those things, you ever something happens in your day-to-day life and you try to come home and maybe explain it to your wife or your husband, and when you're explaining it, it just doesn't come off the same as actually being there. And I think that's what it is with the CONEXPO-CON show. Is it's one of those things where you kind of have to just be there to understand the value and the size, and just it's North America's largest construction show. I mean, I believe how many hectares there is of just machinery and hundreds of thousands of square feet. It's unfathomable the size of the show. And yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. It's the holy grail of construction trade shows.
And because in Vegas, you can have a lot of stuff outside, which, obviously, say in New York or Seattle, you couldn't do. Or you could, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as easy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Vegas is such a great place to hold it. I know that way back in the day, I believe that they used to do it in Texas, but Vegas is such a great spot for it because, especially for me, like, and maybe people listening right now, like I'm in Ottawa, in Canada, it's super cold. Today it's -21. So, to say that I'm a little bit excited about getting to some warmth in March
Yes.
and Vegas is a good thing. So, it's, you're going down there and, we're bringing our team with us, we got some management coming down. So it's kind of like it's a nice fun getaway as well. It's warm, it'll be sunny, you can network and contact with some people and maybe have a drink or two. And it's just going to be it's nice to have it in Vegas.
And yeah, as a newbie myself, we were supposed to go in March 2020, and obviously, ConExpo did in fact happen, but we had to make an executive decision on whether to go or not. And with the world presumably coming to an end, we were like, maybe not. So
yeah,
so
the good
now
thing is it's all good to go now. The show it's wide open and everybody. If you have even the slightest interest in construction or this industry, or even if you're just looking for something fun, I mean, like even just for the kids, like bring your kids to see these massive. I mean, they have the biggest of the biggest here. So yeah, like it is. I'm really excited for 2023 ConExpo because there's no pullback. It's wide open.
What's some of the stuff you've covered on your podcast, kind of leading up to this?
I mean, the fun thing about the podcast is I get to kind of chat with, whenever we started the relationship, that's why I love ConExpo-CON and the people at AEM. Whenever we first started, they're kind of like, they have a lot going on, and they made me feel like it was like, okay, like this is your show, and like this is the what we think, would be good. And what do you think? And they really took my input as far as like who I wanted to have on. And we worked collectively to come up with an array of people as far as we had our first guest was Scott Pushy Six. So kind of a influencer, but also has a marketing company in the dirt world. We had the Diggerman blog from Europe on there. I just had Ryan from Rock Structures on. So talking to different people that do different things within the industry, I think was really important. I didn't want to just go on and try to talk to the big guy or just get on and try to talk to the influencers. I wanted to talk to people that even maybe necessarily some people may have never heard of before that will be at the show, that we can kind of continue on that conversation. Some of the podcasts that stand out for me, honestly, the one I did with Ryan Priestley, Priestley Demolition, we had an awesome conversation, and I really enjoyed that. And, I guess, unbiased, he's kind of Canadian as well, too. So we kind of headed off there, and he's going to be going down to the show. And I pulled a lot of value from that podcast as far as what he has going on. But I can't pick a favorite, but for me, it's just fun to get on the podcast and talk to different people that are doing different things within the same construction industry, because nobody thinks the same. So I actually, when I'm listening to it, I'm pulling a lot of value from the podcast as well, too, because I'm hearing it from different points of views. Like whenever I was talking to Diggerman blog, it was in the US or sorry, in Europe. And then when I was talking to Alexandra, the little operator, she's in New Hampshire and she does septics down there. And we kind of were chatting, and we're working on something now to be doing at the show actually as well too. But it was just interesting, the difference in the dynamic of what she does down there, only probably, 10, 12 hours away to what I'm doing up here. And I think that that's what's really exciting about it, is just hearing the different ways to go about the same industry, and the people that are like building us towards the new phase of, just influencers within the industry, or marketing, or new machinery, or technology. And like, I want to talk to the people that are like, oh, GPS and technology are a bad thing. And I want to talk to the people that are like, GPS and technology are the best thing. Because that's the great thing about a podcast, is you have this voice to kind of get everybody heard. And I don't want to just pinpoint it on like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person because, I don't agree with what they're saying or what they're doing in the industry. No, I want to talk to those people because everybody could pull from serious value from that.
Now, as these kind of conferences can be overwhelming, and this one more than most because it's so big, how are you mentally and physically, Good Shoes is probably one of them, preparing for being on the show floor and having all this stuff to tackle? I know as a journalist, you got to pick and choose what you're going to get.
Yeah. What's funny is we just had a meeting last week with the people at CONEXPO-CON AM, and we were chatting about, okay, so what's the show going to look like, as far as like my role there and what I'm doing. And what's actually really interesting and fun for me is there's not a sense of feeling overwhelmed at all with what I'm doing. Because I'm just looking forward to checking out the different the different things that are going on there, as far as this booth or that booth, and also our panel that we have on Friday. I'm really looking forward to that chat. The people that are on with me are super great, but mentally I'm kind of just going into it with, let's just have fun. Let's just go around and let's have fun, and let's hit the things that obviously I have to hit, and see the people that we have to see. But let's just have fun doing it, because at the end of the day, that's what ConExpo is all about. We want you to go there and have a fun time and learn about construction, see what's new, and meet really cool people. So that's how I'm kind of going into it, is like, let's not get overwhelmed, and let's not think I have to go see every single little thing, because there's going to be another one. Exactly. There's going to be another one 3 years from now, and that's just more of the reason to, wait, and I'll pick up in the next show where I left off on this one.
Okay, so if people want, and I would imagine pretty much anybody on listening to this podcast wants to hear your podcast, where would they go to find that podcast and listen to it in prep for the show, or otherwise?
Anywhere that a podcast is played. We got Apple Podcasts, we got Spotify, we got Google. You just search ConExpo, and the podcast pulls up. As well as, what's really cool is this is how I enjoy podcasts the most, is on YouTube. We have ConExpo has a YouTube channel. If you just search ConExpo, and on there they upload the full length ConExpo podcast, so you get to actually see and hear the people that we're talking to, and myself. And that's kind of a pretty cool way to watch. I know at nighttime, that's how I kind of sit down and I watch content. I'll put it on the TV and kind of watch it visually, but just search ConExpo anywhere, and make sure to check us out.
Okay, Taylor, thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you down there.
You likewise, Warren. Thank you for having me on, and we'll see everybody. Make sure to get your tickets, and if you want, you can use the promo code podcast20 for 20% off all tickets. We will see you March 14th to 18th in the beautiful Las Vegas.